Another game, another win for the Texans.
This is picked off.
The win streak reaches 9 as the defense leads the way.
Houston Chronicle columnist Jerome Solomon joins the show. The record says the Texans are among the best in the league. How high should expectations be now?
And everyone's going to say it's a franchise record and everything, but you know it'll be better than 9 straight, 10 straight.
The college football playoff is set, but is the debate over? And we've got the matchups for the Cougs, Aggies, and Longhorns, plus who's coming to Houston.
And the Fertitta Center is now open for business.
Now we're coming down. The fans haven't seen us yet.
It's an inside look at the Cougars' new on-campus arena. Sports Sunday starts now.
Live from KPRC Channel 2, this is Sports Sunday, presented by Nissan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Sunday. Randy, Wex, and Laney with you. Packed show tonight, and as always, the headline act, not a surprise, starts with the Texans tonight.
Yes, it does. 9 in a row, as Justin Reid just said, wants to make it 10. We'll also talk about Justin Reid, and is he worthy of rookie defensive player of the year? I think so.
He's been great through 12 games. Now the key is, what about the next 4 games? And as we saw coming into this game, there's 2 teams right there with him in the Chargers and the Steelers, all looking up
That was a
at
good
Houston.
game tonight, by the way.
It was a great game.
Sunday Night Football. Hey, also, all weekend, much of Houston and, of course, our nation's focus has been on the passing of former President George H.W. Bush. We've seen tributes all across the city and flags flying at half-staff, which will be the case now for the next few weeks. We begin tonight before today's game there at NRG Stadium. The Texans paid tribute to one of their biggest fans. The late president, of course, attended many games throughout the years, and the team held a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Bush before kickoff today. Then the Texans went out and put on a display I think he would have been proud of as a big Texans fan. Let's take you there and show you some of the highlights. Texans, of course, going for win number 9 in a row. They hosted Baker Mayfield and the Browns. First half, Deshaun Watson floats it up. Guys, that's the rookie Jordan Thomas. What a year he's having. Watson now with a touchdown in each of his 19 career games.
Already up 10-zip at that point. Time for the defense to turn off the heat. Zach Cunningham, the birthday boy, more on that in a minute, intercepts Mayfield. How about a pick 6? Initially ruled nope, then overturned and said yes. 14th of the season for the defense, all coming during the win streak.
Yeah, and the D wasn't done the next 2 series. They come up with picks. First, Jonathan Joseph, and then Andre Howell. The Texans led 23-0 at the break. Second half, even when Cleveland looked like they finally get things going, another Texans takeaway. This time it's the rookie Justin Reid knocking it free. Yeah,
Reid very active today. More from him coming up on Sports Sunday. Texans dominate. They led big at halftime, and they rolled today 29-13. Again, the win streak continues now at 9.
I think the thing that I've noticed with this team is, and it has to continue, is that it is a confident team, but it is a team that realizes it's a very much of a week-to-week league.
We got to go out and play the next game, whether we was on the streak or whether we lost the week before. So it's all good for everything, other than the people in this locker room, because if we buy into it too much, that's when we get smacked in the face.
All right, Texans dominant day by the defense, of course, and an efficient day by the offense. We've seen that in recent weeks. John Watson now with a TD pass in 17 consecutive games. Passes Matt Schaub for the longest such streak in franchise history. Wex Laney now with more on DW4 and this Texans defense. Guys?
Oh, man, the defense is just looking incredible right now, especially with the turnovers.
4 turnovers in one day, that's great, but picking off Baker Mayfield on 3 straight possessions, and the first was that Cunningham pick 6. And you take a look at what Zach was able to do in just his second game back from the knee injury. Just incredible athleticism. Look at him go up and just snag it. One-handed grab. Then, of course, the charge for the end zone, and he had his teammates out there helping him.
Almost knocking him down, actually, for a second.
He's the determined one. B-Mac almost keeping him out, but it got done.
I could not. I mean, he looks like a tight end or wide receiver getting into the end zone there. I could not believe it. Looks like he's done that too many times. It doesn't look like he plays on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, far from it, as he will tell you, comically, pretty proud of himself.
It was more of an instinctual play that I felt, getting back on the ball. Obviously made an amazing catch, a great catch. So it definitely felt pretty good. That's my first pick, first touchdown in the NFL.
I thought he showed a ton of athleticism. He's been helping us out big time. He had a great game today.
And Zach made some hellacious plays today. He could have had 3 interceptions possibly today.
I'll say that's about the top 10 right there. Gotta be. It's his birthday, by the way. Shout out, Zach. 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. The guys were pretty pumped about the pick six and getting Zach back 2 games ago, back to the lineup. But of course, as Whitney noted, looking forward to celebrating his birthday probably right now as we speak.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't know that going into the game. No wonder he made a big play.
It was another turnover-free day for Deshaun Watson. Get this, first 6 games of the year, Deshaun had turned the ball over 10 times. Well, the last 6 games, just 2 turnovers.
Yeah, today the 5th game in a row in which GW Forrest completed better than 66% of his passes, while he admits there's still some room for improvement, namely getting touchdowns and not only field goals. Watson likes the balance, and also his 17th consecutive game with a touchdown pass. That is a franchise record, and with him, I think we're just going to continue seeing those franchise records.
Being able to establish, both sides, running and passing opens up the offense and have us a complete balanced offense. We want to continue to, turn some of those field goals into points, touchdowns. But, it's a great opportunity, a great win for our team, for us, and continue to roll.
Yeah, you heard Deshaun allude to it there. One issue with the O today was Ka'imi Fairbairn was busy having to kick 5 field goals and just 1 extra point.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to look at it that way. Clearly, if the team does, that's something they have to consider. But they were moving the ball all day. They only got in the red zone 2 times. Those were both in the first quarter. So all these field goals they were kicking, they were putting points on the board every drive, taking time off the clock every drive. And clearly that's going to work, and it has worked during that streak. More on that streak and everything else going on with the Texans. Rady McElvoy now with Jerome Solomon from the Houston Chronicle.
Wex, Lanny, thanks. Time to talk more Texans now, joined by the Chronicle's own Jerome Solomon. Good to see you, man. Hey, this winning streak lives on. Another week, another W. Can you believe where they are from where they were?
Well, from where they were, it's hard to believe. But as you saw the schedule, you said, man, there are some teams here they're supposed to be able to beat, but you still have to go out and do it. And they've been getting better and better at that. And today was an example of them coming out saying, we know we're the better team. We have the better plan. Let's not even mess around. Let's not even give the Browns any kind of life at all. And they just choked it out of them. The defense dominated right from the very start.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I want to ask you, though, quickly on the offensive side. First time in, 5 games or so, Deshaun Watson actually threw it a little bit more. I think he had 31 attempts today, and the running game was solid again, over 180 yards rushing. What's been, you think, the secret to the success on the running game specifically?
Well, the offensive line, those guys are not the best at pass blocking. We all understand that. Right. We know that. But there are a lot of new guys, new faces who weren't on the team last year, who weren't together last year. So it's taken them a while to get into a flow, to feel what they're doing. And as soon as Deshaun Watson got healthy, he made the running game a lot easier because defenses are concerned with him. And the offensive line, they can't pass block. They're pretty solid at run blocking, and they've committed to it. Bill O'Brien said, look, we're going to run the football, and we're going to keep running it. And, I mean, he did throw 22 passes in the first half today, but that was more of a game plan. They knew they could get some damage done against the Browns.
One of the big storylines coming out of this win, the turnovers. They created, 3 interceptions, also had a fumble recovery as well. We're going to roll some video and talk a little bit about this, and this is a great play on his birthday. How about Zach Cunningham right here?
And he hasn't been out there. He's been hurt and not healthy, and he gets it, and he takes it to the house. We already, we discussed all during the season their trouble inside the red zone and inside the 5, and he was able to turn it into a touchdown.
There's J. Joe and then Andre Howe. This was cool.
These guys look like receivers making these catches, and that's the thing. As I've always said, the reason the guy's on defense is probably because he can't catch, but they made plays. And here's Jordan Reed, the rookie, again, out of the play and not giving up on it and coming in and forcing a fumble at the 1-yard line to keep the Browns from scoring. That's big-time football.
The defense just stepping up, and they are definitely making plays. I want to talk now. Everybody's talking about the winning streak, Jerome. They're 9-3. They've got a commanding lead right now in the AFC South, but should they be worried? Forget about the AFC South. They're going to lock that up. This is more of a big picture thing. They're looking right now at trying to overtake New England for that second seed and get a bye. Should that be the focus right now?
It shouldn't be the focus, but it should definitely be in the back of their mind.
Exactly.
Because if you start focusing on that,
then you got problems.
Andrew Luck will come in here and light you up next week.
But you're good enough to do that.
You got to believe that you're good enough to get that done. But you have to believe that you have to practice every day, just like you've been doing to get to the 9 wins in a row. You approach it the same way, week to week, play to play, game to game, series to series, and you know that if you do your job, you're going to be there. You're going to have, they could mess around and get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I don't think that will happen, but if they win out I am almost certain they'll have one of the top 2 seeds and get a first-round bye, the home game here at NRG in the division round. That means you win 1 game and you're in the AFC Championship.
You're there.
Place
That's
they've
right.
never been. They have to. You don't want to start talking about that, but their families and friends are going to talk about that. The players need to talk about that next opponent.
All right, got about 45 seconds now. You've got the Colts coming to town. Now, prior to today, we were saying, oh, the Colts, this offense is doing big things. Didn't have it today against Jacksonville, but I say that was 1 game. You still got to be very careful when Andrew Luck and the guys get here.
There's no question. And that's the thing. I mean, we know Jacksonville's having a horrible season, and they should have thrown in the towel, right? They have nothing to play for.
Right.
But they showed up and played good defense today because they're a good team like that. The Colts can beat the Texans. The Texans are better than everybody left on their schedule. That's a given. That doesn't mean they will be on that day when they play them. They need to show up and play their best football to get it done. And you can't take anybody lightly. The NFL is tough. New Orleans, unstoppable offense, right?
Yeah.
We saw what the Cowboys did to them
wrong
Thursday night.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a defense that can't be scored on or an offense that can't be stopped. You just have to be the team that does it.
All right. He is Chronicle columnist Jerome Solomon. You see him often here on Sports Sunday. Good stuff. Let's enjoy the ride and see what happens Sunday when the Colts come to town. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you, Randy. And let's take a look at why the Texans are now 3 games up in the division. The Colts win streak snapped today in a defensive battle in Jacksonville. Not a single touchdown scored. Andrew Luck and the Colts completely shut out. And Jalen Ramsey, adding insult to injury here, pretends to help Luck up. Psych. And the Jags win it with 2 field goals, 6-0 the final.
What a disgrace. Craziness in New York with the Bears in town. Odell Beckham Jr. caught a touchdown, and on this trick play, he's going to run it. No, he's going to throw it. How did he find Russell Shepard? Bears didn't know where he was. Now we're going to the last play of the game, and the Bears have to have a touchdown to force overtime. Trick play for them, and they get it. The Bears now need a touchdown because the Giants got a field goal. This could help them extend the game. Instead, their 5-game winning streak over. Giants win it 30-27.
All right, Cardinals, Packers in the snow out in Green Bay at Lambeau. A little bit of snow there. Packers on the board first. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams right there on the hookup, made it 7-0. But the Packers were down 3 late, needed this field goal to force overtime. No good. Packers lose at home to the lowly Cardinals. And then after the game, you know what? They fired their head coach, Mike McCarthy. 13 seasons in charge, won a Super Bowl. Lots of underachieving, though, with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers as the quarterbacks. And what do you think about that? McCarthy out in Green Bay. Still come on Sports Sunday. Rookie Justin Reid keeps on delivering big for the Texans. We'll hear from the remarkable rookie coming up next.
Plus, the Longhorns came up short in the second go-round with OU. Now, their sweet bowl matchup may be just as tough. That and all the bowl info you have to have when Sports Sunday continues.
You know, he does a good job calling the game. You know, it's not easy to call the game in this day and age of the way the NFL is, you know, all the different things that offenses can do. And he does a really good job on game day of staying calm and staying in the moment. And I think his players really appreciate that.
All right, welcome back to Sports Sunday. That was Bill O'Brien in the coach's corner after the game today at NRG Stadium, talking about his defensive coordinator. What a good one, Romeo Crennel, and the job he has done. He's got a lot of playmakers on this defense, and one's a rookie.
Yeah,
doing a great job.
Possibly the youngest guy on this defense, Justin Reid. And it was kind of funny, I guess Reid saw this coming. He had a tweet yesterday before this game, and he said, went to bed having dreams about making plays against Cleveland. And he definitely did that today. You know, before this season, during training camp, I remember Justin told everyone he felt like he was ahead of the game as a rookie because of his brother and what he had learned from him. And it's crazy how much it's really playing out to be true.
Can't help but think about him tweeting about Cleveland being a young guy and the Astros and Alex Bregman. It screams of that confidence that these young players have sometimes, and he absolutely has it. What he also has is the backing of all his teammates. He's in a great situation there.
All right, he's a third-round draft pick as well. What a job he has done to come in and earn the starting job, get serious playing time. He spoke today after the game about his play, and of course, J.J. Watt weighed in as well.
Always want to show great effort, run to the ball, and at that point it's just try and make something happen. Didn't want him to score, so just make a play on the ball, see if it come out, and good thing for us, it did.
I mean, he's been having a hell of a year. I mean, he's been working hard to improve every week. I personally think he should be up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be.
I don't see why he wouldn't be there. What do you guys think?
Well, it was no accident that there was a fumble right there with him specifically going to knock
That's
the ball
making
out.
something out of nothing, literally.
And the hustle is what his teammates talked about. That play doesn't end. He's definitely in the conversation, but there's still 4 games left.
Yeah, he's fit right in, no doubt about it. Let's segue now. Let's get out of Texas talk right to college football.
Sets his feet, now starts to use his feet. Throws on the run. Touchdown, Judy. Just inside the 16, quarterback draw, Jalen Hurts. Touchdown.
Well, that's how it ended last night. Channel View's own Jalen Hurts coming off the bench in the 4th quarter to rally Alabama past Georgia in the SEC title game. It's only fitting he did that. How that for redemption now for Hurts. He was benched a year ago in the national championship, decided not to transfer. He had plenty of options, and now he has the Crimson Tide in line for another possible ring. What a job. Of course, final playoff rankings came out today as well. No real surprise based on what we saw yesterday and how it all unfolded. Bama remains number 1. They will get OU, the Big 12 champions. They beat Texas in that one semifinal game. That game is the Orange Bowl out in Florida. The other 2 playoff teams are both undefeated. Clemson and Notre Dame will meet in the Cotton Bowl. So, guys, did the committee get this right?
Oh, I mean, I'll tell you, I have a sister who goes to Georgia who absolutely thinks they got it completely wrong. She says, why would Notre Dame be in there over her Georgia Bulldogs?
Well, the 4 teams that are in the playoff beat every team on their schedule. Obviously, OU has 1 loss, but they beat the team that beat them. So those are the 4 teams that get there. Georgia, you are absolutely in the playoffs if you don't lose by 19 to LSU.
That cost them. Yeah, Oklahoma came back, beat Texas. They got in there as well. Notre Dame's, I think it's a pretty good football team now. I think they belonged as well, but it's just you got so many good teams in the SEC. So many good is going to be left out, like a Georgia.
I just think the way that Georgia played Alabama was the ticket that should have got them to the playoffs.
What they proved is they were one of the 4 best teams in the country, but they didn't
but were
play
they the
their way
most deserving?
in. You can't get there just from that
whatever.
Whatever. Here's the rest of what it looks like in the top 10, and there is Georgia. So the playoff committee agreed Georgia was the next best team, but there are actually some pretty good matchups to look forward to besides those 2 playoff games.
Yeah, I think there's some good football games coming up in the next several weeks. Of course, we were all keeping an eye on where these bowl destinations and the teams were going to go today for our local teams, U of H and beyond around the area, and we have a few to talk about right now.
Absolutely. The best non-playoff, in my opinion, is with the Longhorns. Tom Herman in year 2 guided the 9-4 Horns to the Sugar Bowl, and it's going to match up stud sophomore quarterbacks Georgia's Jake Fromm, UT Sam Ehlinger, Bevo, and Uga in New Orleans on New Year's Day. I'm sure that December 31st evening should be fun. Georgia, as we said before, that's a great Georgia team that the Longhorns are going to face.
All right, Aggies waited on their call. They finished, of course, with that big win over LSU. They're heading to Jacksonville, Florida. Jimbo Fisher leading A&M to the Gator Bowl, his inaugural season in College Station. Aggies will face off against NC State. That one will be on New Year's Eve as well. Texas A&M can get their 9th win of the season, something they haven't done since Johnny Manziel's last year in maroon and white. That was back in 2013. Hey, as for the bowl game here in town, NRG Stadium, very happy with the matchup. They're going to host the Baylor Bears on December 27th. A good turnaround season there for Matt Rule at Baylor. They'll take on Vanderbilt in the Texas Bowl. Baylor rebounding in year 2 under Coach Rule, going 6-6 after winning just 1 game in 2017. Lenny?
Yep, and the U of H Cougs will be going up against the triple option attack of Army in the Armed Forces Bowl. That will be December 22nd, just down the road in Fort Worth. No Ed Oliver, of course. He has announced that he will not play to focus on the draft. Last year, Cougs were all the way in Hawaii, so this time much closer to home. And Coach Applewhite expecting a good crowd and a great matchup against a tough Army team.
Proud to be able to take our team up to Fort Worth to the Armed Forces Bowl. Formidable opponent. We'll get a chance to see them Saturday against Navy, a team we know enough about. But 9-2, and regionally here, you hear a lot about Oklahoma, and you saw what they did there in Norman, so you know you got a great opponent to go up against.
All right, still ahead on Sports Sunday. 2 years, $60 million later. Look at this. Say hello to U of H's new gym. We'll take you behind the scenes at the new Fertitta Center. Coming up.
Brooks got it off. Got it from the corner, right in front of the Oregon bench. What a start in the new building.
Yeah, that was the scene last night in the raucous new Fertitta Center. U of H welcoming in Oregon to open this new arena over at U of H. It took a while. Final score of 65-61 before a sellout crowd. Now, earlier this week, U of H head coach Kelvin Sampson gave me a behind-the-scenes tour of this new arena, which he believes will be a game changer for the Cougars program.
You know, we were so far behind everybody, but now we've caught up.
This is Houston Red Strong, and it is great to be
A little thing, Randy, it's like bringing a kid on campus. Where do you take him? As soon as that kid gets out of that car, we take him to the Guy V. Lewis Center. We've never taken a kid to our arena that he's going to play in. It's the first time.
This will start.
This will be the first time.
You know, seeing a crowd like that, it really gets you enthused and it really gets you, motivated to go out there and just give your best.
Quick ball movement, Nate Hinton, the freshman, just into the game and onto the scoreboard.
The crowd just made it just comfortable. I was out there comfortable, so the crowd is definitely an advantage out here.
But it's going to be awesome to walk kids through that tunnel and let them just walk around and see this place because it is awesome.
We're just really proud of it. I mean, it's, we're going to be going to the NCAA tournament every year, and we need a facility like this.
All right, for Laney and Wex, we appreciate you watching. Before we go, we leave you with a look back at President George H.W. Bush and his connection to the sports world, especially with his teams here in Houston. Good night, everybody.